Greetings, I present to you the SMK, the Sentinel's Marvellous Kaleidoscope, on CFRU 93.3 FM in Guelph, Ontario, through the web on CFRU.ca, and syndicating across Canada. I am your guardian overseer, Nicholas Cooper. We will be looking inward and beyond along the branches of progressive, fusion, and alternative genres, an unexpected anomaly, and other unique discoveries near and far. Join me as we gaze into the audible lens out at the diverse musical landscape on the ever-changing horizon.
Came across a delirious guy, he was feeling so high. I sat beside him and I asked him how he gets by with his life. He took a glance at my questioning eyes, he laughed out loud and I felt so shy. He said he doesn't have a job or a wife, no house to pay off and no kids to cry. And I shouted at him, don't you get tired jumping up and down? He said I'm playing a cool playground. Hey you, it's your office, this cool downtown. I shut myself up and I kept walking. I made a fool of myself, a ridiculous clown. Up and I kept walking. I made a fool of myself, a ridiculous clown. I shut myself up and I kept walking. I made a fool of myself, a ridiculous clown. So what is it I've been seeing? I've been seeing signs. I've been seeing signs of happiness everywhere I look, and yet I wonder where it is. I wonder where it is. So what is it I've been seeing?
Welcome, my good centuries, to yet another audience far from the observational tower. I want to introduce you to great friends in Toronto coming live at this moment, this evening. The band Gelax. Why don't you introduce yourselves to us?
Hello. We are Gelax. I'm Gelarah.
I'm Tareq.
And thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for joining me this evening. It's been far too long. And when we started this Zoom meeting, I was so happy to see you.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while since we're isolated.
Yeah, how are you guys coping with COVID-19 right now? How are in the months that's already passed by?
Tons of emotions really going through. I mean, partially pleased, part because it's like a much needed time off, but at the same time, the climate of everything is a little strange, so there's that worry as well. Our worry for jobs and whose job's gonna stay. But it's given us a chance to slow down and kind of reassess what's important in our day-to-day life. And it helped us a lot of working on this current album, which gave us a lot of time to actually sit down and work music, because what else can you really do in experience, right? You can't go out much, you can't work, so it's a perfect place to get creative. So.
Yeah, I've been mostly chilling and working on songs, but I actually enjoyed it during this time. It was like a awakening that you don't need as much as you think you need in general. Everything, financial
things.
Yeah. Everything. You don't need to go out as much. You don't need to spend as much. You don't need to obsess over things as much as you think you do.
It's just so it's just cleared up a lot of issues like that maybe piled up when things were normal and go.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're able to address those, work on the things that were getting you worried.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know how it is. You have a job, you have to hold it, and then you have to maintain the backside of the music, which is networking and social media, and then the business part of it, and then you're trying to at the same time work at your craft. So you basically have enough time to make it all happen comfortably. You're stressing constantly, chasing it, go, and it adds a little bit of tension in your life that is shouldn't be that way. Especially when you're making art, it should be just enjoyable and relaxing and therapeutic, right? So
yeah.
Yeah. So has it been for you guys constant flourishing of music productivity, or has it been an ebb and flow between high production and then little stumps along the way?
A combination, I guess, of both. I mean, how it is. As soon as it started, the quarantine started, everyone is excited. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to learn a language, I'm going to cook, I'm going to make a full 2-album, double CD album kind of thing. But then, as the momentum starts to slow down, you kind of have your typical ups and downs, I mean, you can't always be on your creative peak. So, but we did kind of connect it to something different musically. I mean, I think these songs that we're working on are closest and most I would say close or vulnerable to how we feel at these moments, stages. Questions that are on our minds, and questions that are on a lot of people's heads. I think most people that are experienced, that are feeling and they're experiencing. So yeah, let's see how everyone reacts to it once it's ready, once it's done.
Yeah, it'll be great to hear some new music from you guys, which I think You mentioned before this interview that you might be playing a few for us.
Yeah, we'll play a little sneak peek, a couple of songs.
Would you like to play a song for us right now?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do it. Look past to the busy streets, noises coming out of empty seats. Left alone in my tiny world, connecting, pulsing beats. Stay here just a while, laying on an island made of clay. Laying on an island, won't you wait? Looked out of the window, noises disappear. Towers underground now, neighbors hear our fear. Don't you just wanna stay? Sadistic impulses to meet our fate. Confusing times, oh, love and hate. Sadistic impulses destroy my faith. Eyes wide open, I can't relate. Fair game, future sold in tarot cards. Judgments lost, childish brains. Love is lost and gained again. Looked out of the window, voices reappear. Towers underground, but neighbors hear our cheers. Stay here, just another day. Sadistic impulses to meet our fate. Confusing times, oh, love and hate. Sadistic impulses destroy my faith. Eyes wide open, I can't relate. Sadistic impulses to meet our fate. Confusing times, oh, love and hate. Sadistic impulses destroy my faith. Eyes wide open, I can't relate.
That's an amazing song, guys. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay. Where did it come from? Kind of reflective of the current state of affairs, like what's going on around us, going before from this busyness, busy streets, hustle and bustle, and, then we are put on quarantine and everything all of a sudden goes empty. So the contrast, from before, how we were always on the go, on the run, not paying attention to each other a lot of times, busy in our own lives. Then this moment happens where all of a sudden you notice that you've taken a lot of it for granted, and you appreciate each other more. You have this more deeper connection now than before to people around you. Almost feel that we're really all in this together in the end. And yeah, so it's that contrast going from the busy streets to the empty streets, and then even though the streets were busy, but we were kind of also empty on the inside. Now the reverse is happening, and they're kind of waking up to our own our feelings.
Yeah, and people have more empathy towards each other, towards people who are working, towards people who are sick, or like feeling each other more and connecting with each other more. Yeah.
Excellent, guys. Thank you for explaining that to us. Why don't we talk a little bit about your backgrounds and how the band, how you guys found each other and formed the band, because it's quite a I don't know, it's interesting, but it's very eye-awakening to some of the different situations around the world. Are you comfortable with talking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm from Iran, or as Canadians say it, Iran. And you are from?
I'm from Palestine, so.
Yeah, and it's been years that we are under oppression, and in my country, in my country, there are a lot of things that are not allowed to happen, including women singing. And you would go to jail because of singing, just because of that. And I left my country to be able to pursue my dream to sing. And actually, the night I came here, I put up posts everywhere, like on Kijiji, Craigslist, all platforms that I knew. And then after a while, Tareq responded to my post, wanting a bandmate. And then we started from there.
Well, yeah, that's quite a different outlook for us here in Canada, there, where anyone who wants to can sing. And yeah, that's just a different mindset, and like, I guess was it from like a historical viewpoint, I guess, that singing wasn't allowed in a country?
No. It's just been 40 years or so that our new regime had came and started oppressing people in different ways. Like, I connect to the current situation that's happening in America because our police will arrest you for almost anything, just having long hair as a guy, wearing a t-shirt saying Metallica or whatever. A lot of things that we as Canadians don't relate to and don't understand and don't see it in our daily life. Yeah, so it's a completely different experience. But before this regime was on, it was a very free country, and like a lot of things, almost everything was allowed. Everybody was free. But as soon as the regime changed, everything switched, and yeah, it became like a very dictatorship country. So yeah.
And Tareq, how about Palestine? How was that experience? Like growing up there?
I grew up, I was very young, but I grew up most of my life, actually. My parents, because of the war, they had to leave. My grandparents went to Egypt. My family, we went to Saudi Arabia. We settled there because my dad found work in the Gulf. So that was a crazy experience too, because in a way they're just almost as strict. They have a very secular view, very extreme kind of religion at that time, especially back then. Now I think it's a lot looser, easier. So, being being, first of all, like foreigner is difficult, living there. Being different is different, like, and growing up and having, like, I didn't know it back then, but I understand now what I mean. I'm a bisexual male, so back then having feelings or just attraction to men and realizing that it was extremely frowned upon and illegal as well, kind of makes you view yourself in a very negative way. So you have that side as well. Growing up as well, I wasn't very fond of the religious practices. I wasn't a big follower. I would just go to, appease my dad, or just go to show face at a mosque. So all these elements kind of made it hell living there at the time. It was really, really hard to live there. So all you would dream about is, going to America or going to the West. I didn't know Canada at the time. Back then when I was really young, everyone knows America, right? From the movies and from music. So growing up, music was definitely an escape. It's like sometimes the only escape from that situation. You grow up, you get bullied at school for being different. You get ridiculed, you get pointed out, you get harassed by the government if you speak anything or criticize anything about the government or the regime. You can even get lashes for that. So that was like a very tight, very, very conservative society. So music was a way to like get out of that and escape. And yeah, when I heard that we were emigrating to Canada, I was like on cloud nine. I was like, I cannot believe it. I'm finally escaping this hellhole. No offense to any Saudis, of course. I mean, this is not to the people itself. This is always targeted at governments, right? Yeah. Governments are always a problem. So, but yeah, so coming here was definitely a new rebirth.
And then he replied to my email, my ad.
The post, yeah.
Yeah.
And history started.
The history of Gelax starts.
Yeah.
The birth. So I guess when you guys were still in your home countries, how were you able to find the music that you've have been influenced by, and how I guess how were you able to if you were able to like practice or train secretly?
Well, in my country, when I was growing up, I grew up in US. I lived like until I was 10, 11 years old in US, and then when we went back, so a lot of my childhood, Michael Jackson, Madonna at the time, these kind of songs was from there. But when I went back home, it was, we couldn't buy any music anywhere. It was just, you would find somebody would have a cassette or some kind of selection, and then they would like rewrite it for you, and then they would give you the cassette, and you didn't have any other option to listen to anything else other than what you get in a selection. Later on, when I was a teenager, satellites came. And although they're illegal, and they still are, and sometimes they raid neighborhoods and just break the dishes and try to take the receivers or whatever. But people keep putting them back on. So when satellites came, that was a huge opening for us to listen to music, and we had like music channels, MTV and VH1 and stuff like that, and that was how we listened to our music from then. But before that, it was just luck.
Yeah, I think it's not. It's kind of similar in Saudi, but they had a little bit easier bylaws for music, especially during the early 90s. with the satellite, especially because that was when the first Gulf War was going on, and American troops were coming there, and they wanted. Obviously, they brought with them their music. They brought them the satellites, the radios for the soldiers, for the base. So that was a huge exposure for us at the time. And you can obviously you can find cassettes. I mean, very few selections of Western music. Most of it would be like Arabic. Funny enough, I was never attracted as much to the Arabic music side, even though I grew up there, but I was very attracted to the Westerner sounds. So it was like a big jumble, everything, like, how it is you discover from Elton John, Michael Jackson, Madonna, everything, wherever was big at the time. And then you slowly start venturing into more niche territories. I got into rock slowly. I got into, and then as the mid 90s came, or early 90s, the grunge era was huge. So like, Nirvana was big at the time. We loved them. We loved Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. And yeah, that's around that time is when I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to play like Kurt Cobain. I was like, okay, I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to play easy songs, just play chords and like, belch out my heart. And so I think I was like around 14, 15 when I first started first guitar. Obviously, it's hard there to find anyone to teach you because, it's not something you would study in school. It's not something that people like share. Very, very few people do private lessons there. And you got to find them. And of course, my dad wasn't very pleased with the fact that I'm getting into wanted to play instrument. He wanted me to be a doctor, engineer, something business like that, right? So mostly it was done by ear and with the help of a few friends. They'll send you a few sheets here and there for tablatures, and yeah. So it starts from there.
So what are the what are the artists and styles of music that you both together that brought you together and influence your music now?
I remember in my ad, I put a lot of bands and
I remember what you put. I remember in detail. That's why I responded.
Okay, then because I remember a few of them.
No, I remember you mentioned like there was Depeche Mode in there, Radiohead, Sade, Morchiba, Massive Attack,
Portishead,
Archive, Portishead. So that was already like a winner in my books because most people used to jam with friends. A lot of people love to put the same things with you all, which are great bands, no doubt about it, like Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, the classics, the traditional classics. Everyone puts that. So it's hard to really predict what is the other side of the art. But as soon as I saw those influences, I was sold. Because first of all, I'm a Radiohead fanatic. They're like, top
I was not. I just mentioned Radiohead. I didn't know he's a fanatic.
Oh, what's your mistake? See? Yeah. That was, what drew us together is the interest in the other side of music. The stuff that's really not always on the forefront. These bands are like great bands, but they're never especially the later music. It's never always played on the radio. The latest CDs, they're not always on the rotation as much as the other bands that we know, right? So, yeah, that was a big common ground for us.
One of the big, I guess, the main genre style that you guys describe your music is fantasy rock. Do you care to talk about how you came up with that tag for you guys, and what does that mean?
Our early songs, when we started writing, our early songs were way more based on
there was a lot of moods in it, fantasy-ish, escapist mood.
Like we had songs about like God and devil just like playing a show in front of me, or
discussion of aliens, or
aliens,
different beings in the world we're living on.
Yeah,
voices in your head. All these things.
A lot of sci-fi.
That was one part of it, but
Yeah, and also there was a lot of moods that Tareq used to play on guitar that goes like it did sound a little alien to me. That goes from one mood to like if I want to describe it, you're walking in a field that's sunny and bright, and it would go right into a forest that's dark and gloomy, and then it would go, I don't know, on a sea. So it was like different moods, and I wasn't used to like switching moods like that, but based on his moods and guitar lines, I would write my songs, and well, his guitar lines were a lot fantasy-ish to me. And it would take me to like a story in my head or like stuff like that. So I would write based on the mood that he's bringing. So it became this fantasy thing, and most of our songs were based on fantasy, subject-wise, mood-wise.
And I did send you a fantasy theme song. I had a song I sent to her in the beginning there. I wasn't sure if she was gonna hate it or love it. And I was like, this is a little weird. And I just titled it Fantasy with a question mark. And I think that also kind of drove us into towards that. Even we had some people say to us, "Oh, you guys remind us a lot of like, so you have this fantasy element in your music." Okay, cool. Let's just call it that. So, we stuck with it since then.
Yeah.
So I guess some of the earlier songs were a form of escapism. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Probably.
A lot.
Sure.
Yeah, because some of the, or I guess more of the more current songs, it still has that fantasy element of the changing moods and textures, but it's more, there's more like maybe socio-political issue.
Ground, earthy.
It's more earthy, you would say so? I mean,
yeah, because it was a struggle for us to, you always want to fit in whatever you're doing. You kind of want to fit in. Sometimes, not always, but me personally, I felt like a lot of people, because of the fact that I am singing about parallel universes or aliens or God and devil talking and arguing with each other or stuff like that. Maybe, well, I've been called crazy a lot, so I started writing more about my current problems, like social stuff. I switched the genre, not the genre, the subject of the song, a little more on the laid back side, so that maybe people can relate to. But I still have a lot of those songs that we decided to go back to that.
Well, yeah, this album is going to be kind of a return to our older...
No.
This new songs?
No, they're actually...
They're going back, the moods at least, the musical side.
Yeah, but not the lyric. Lyric is still
lyrically,
social.
it's very like, it's a social commentary on what's happening.
It's more angry.
Musically, you're going to be a lot of surprises in there. I think we're venturing, especially in a few songs that we're not going to like try to sugarcoat it or make it sound in a specific way just to fit within a genre. We just said, let's just experiment with some songs and let it be if the mood is strange from here to here. So some people might appreciate it, some people might hate it, but at least it's an honest expression of what we feel and how we like to hear songs, right? So,
yeah.
Like, I'm a huge fan of prog rock, and one of the things I love about it is in a 10-minute song, you can go to like travel to 7-8 different places and moods and feelings and emotions and it's awesome, right? I mean, some of it might be silly, but some of it is so deep and emotional, and it's always colorful. You never know what's going to be around the corner, So
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So much you can do within an extended amount of time, and well, I wish there was more music out there in the forefront that people listen to that that does that.
Yeah.
Are you planning to do like a 20-minute epic?
Oh, I would love to. I would love to do that just for the heck of it one day, just to release it. Or like a B-side for the Dry Heart fans. I tried that with my previous band. I had an older kind of straight rock blues band, and I pleaded with the singer so much to do this like epic 20-minute song. It wasn't 20 minutes, it was like 30-minute song. But yeah, I enjoyed myself a lot doing these things. It's kind of like down my alley. So. Mm-hmm.
So you did mention a bit about how some of the songs have come together. Is it the way you were described? So Tareq would come up with the guitar phrases and like I guess the harmonic structure, and then Gelarah, you would bring in lyrics, or is it interchanging?
It's
constantly changing.
Yeah, constantly changing. I would just walk around and be like da 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 da, and I would just record that and then just put a beat on it and then just start singing something because I need some melody line to start writing my vocals on. And sometimes when he's not around, I just do that and start a song. Sometimes he's just noodling on the guitar and I would just run from the room and be like, record that. Just record that part. Yeah, and it happens like in very different ways.
Yeah, we've done it a lot of times. Like when she'll be messing around with beats and she puts a cool beat down, and it's just that it's only a beat, and all of a sudden we start hearing things. I started hearing a guitar or a bass and going on top of it, or she would hear like a synth thing or a keyboard will just build it up from a beat. Sometimes she would just put like a simple piano and like a 2-chord structure. I think Tempting was done like that. It was just like, it's literally 2 chords that she did on the piano and her vocals. And I just heard things on top of it and it's just giving me an imagination. So yeah, we've done it in so many different ways, like, exchanging music, exchanging words.
Well, Tempting was my first song, so I only knew 2 chords. 4 chords, I knew.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It's better to start with what you know and basic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you want to play another song for us now?
Sure.
Sure.
What do you want? What are you going to play?
That's another newer song, I would say. We still haven't decided on the title.
We've named it right now Nightmare, but it absolutely has nothing to do with the song.
It was just a joke. I put it as a joke because it's a serious song, lyrically, but we were like, I'll just go with Nightmare. Just to mess around. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's Nightmare.
Normally I just press the keyboard button and it just comes out like a jumbled up bunch of letters. And he hates it, so he's like, please don't do that. Please don't do it. Just name it something because I won't remember all these jumbled up letters. I'm like, okay.
I do that sometimes as well.
Yeah, I always do that.
Oh, man. And then I don't remember. They all look like GGKKLL. Like, which one is that one? We have 5 songs that have the same title.
Okay. I'm not sure if this.
Ready?
Yep. Tell me tales of vision and dreams, hopes and fears and your Ponzi schemes. Rip off all the tales of these crooked walls and see-through mirrors. I don't even know if I'm right or if I'm out of my mind. This is hell I dreamt of, or a fool's paradise is clearer. Sick of all the shells as we're craft and our spells. Don't believe in your dreams or pyramid schemes. Don't believe in history. Pretty frames my intentions. Pop, 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 pretentious machine. Tell me your pretty name again. Don't believe in anything real. Keep telling me what I want to be. Just give me drugs so I can feel. Keep feeding your ego, blow me away. Truth is overrated, give me lies so I can stay. I can stay. Don't believe in friendly dogs. Don't believe in cannibals. Don't believe in time you waste. Don't believe in what I say. Don't know where I went wrong. I can't recall my thoughts. Planted years ago, overgrown or hunger lost. Keep telling me what I want to be. Just give me drugs so I can feel. Keep feeding your ego, blow me away. Truth is overrated, give me lies so I can stay. I can stay. I can stay.
That was gorgeous singing, Gelarah.
Oh,
and
thank you.
That was great finger picking patterns there, Tareq. Listening to the lyrics of that, is the song about the difference between like truth and lies, reality and fantasy, and trying to understand what's going on around?
It was like this was a struggle between you know how every day you hear some kind of news and then at the end you're like so confused and you don't know what's the truth, what's not. In your everyday life, and I mean not just news, like one day they come and tell you tomatoes are good for you. The next day they would say like tomatoes are cancerous, or I don't know, stuff like that, crazy. So it's like, what is this reality that we're seeing and we're feeling and whatever? Does it actually exist at all in the first place, or is it just an illusion of ourselves, or what we want to translate it as for ourselves?
Yeah, I think it's also like collective of people's, the beginnings of our disbelief in our higher system. And it's a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, right before the pandemic, there were a lot of protests around the world that are happening. People are starting to get fed up with their governments. You know, they're not scared anymore of their, dictatorship governments that are going to punish them. They're going out, they're protesting. They say, enough is enough. You fed us lies all the time. You said you care about the people. Most of them, they did not care. I mean, for a country like the States, which is, all the world, looks up to and follows their model for freedom, yet you see a lot of corruption in that. You see a lot of discrimination in this. So this is a phenomenon that's happening all around the world. And I think the song is kind of reflective of that, when you get to the point where you are really in disbelief of everything that these people are trying to tell you, what they're trying to guide you, what is good for you, what is not. They tell you certain things that are truths. The media tells you that what we say is the truth. And, is it really? You find constantly opposite views of that shows that it wasn't really all true.
It's
that
like
it had been
constantly
lies.
altering everything. The truth is altering all the time.
Yeah.
About everything.
In a way, you start to have more respect for the person that tells you, I don't know anything, I might be lying, but they're telling the truth. And more than the person that tells you, I know for a fact this is the truth and you have to do it this way. And it's completely bogus. So
yeah, I guess with everything going on for the last, well, it's already come to light to a lot of people, an awakening in the last month and a bit, but it's pretty much been going on for centuries, at least for the Black community in America, and as well as Canada and the Indigenous people
for sure.
Exactly.
here. And I guess it was only visually seeing, it was, I guess the big catalyst was George Floyd, who was lynched. That was, I guess, the big eye-awakening thing to get everyone motivated to start working and about police oppression, police brutality, racial oppression, and just getting the reality out there.
Yeah.
It's just shifting. Hopefully it stays focused and positive in its goals, and it doesn't get sidetracked again, like most revolutions that, the governments try to squash and distract you from it so everything can go back to the way it was. So let's just hope this time it's a mass awareness for all humanity from all around the world.
Mm-hmm. It seems like it's a global human rights issue, and it needs to be dealt with now, finally, for good. Hopefully for good.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Why don't we talk about, for some lighter conversations, it was important to address, it is also good to do that because it's uncomfortable, but that you have to deal with the discomfort. I know I have to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I believe I discovered you guys from, I think it was through SoundCloud in some magical way. Just I think I might have had my Piers Ulvi SoundCloud page up at that time. Maybe?
I actually don't know. I don't know how. You never told us.
No. It must have been through one of my blogging, volunteer side things that you guys just popped up one day.
Lucky us.
Yeah. And it was, I guess it might have been around the time of either Crawler or Life, around those songs.
Yeah.
And those were that's what was there at the time, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and these songs are, all your songs are magnificent, but I think I really connected with Life, if you want to talk about that song, as well as the music video, which was actually the visual part of you guys is very, I would describe abstract and surreal, which goes in part with the fantasy element of you guys. So do you want to talk about Life in the video for it?
Yeah, Life was about, we were at a time we wrote Life that I was not in a good place. I mean, not that I wasn't in a good place, but
I think we were kind of in a lost place. We were just constantly searching for happiness, I would say, and we were not satisfied in a lot of how our lives were going at the time. So
yes,
and this this conversation started. I think like why aren't we happy? Why are the simplest pleasures bring happiness to some people, like kids or a person with nothing?
I think it dawned on me that I think one day I was walking down the street and I paid attention to people that day, and I realized that a lot of people that you think should, in your mentality, you think like for their situation they shouldn't be happy, or like you are afraid to be in that situation, like a homeless person, and you believe that will take all of your happiness away because your home, a house or a car will bring you happiness. But then you see like a lot of homeless people that are happy, or like there are a lot of poorer countries that people are happier than actually the richer countries. Or like and then we started this conversation that what happens when you grow up? You're always happy as a kid, and then what happens when you grow up and that it just disappears all of a sudden, and you want more, and you want this, and you have to work, and you have to like go in a crazy cycle just to get happiness, which you're never happy about it. And then we started writing this song, and life came out.
Mm-hmm.
The title was pretty simple, I guess, just like straightforward. We just, okay,
Yeah.
What is life? What is life to you? As you know, what is happiness? What does it mean to us, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's different in different circumstances and between different people. Yeah, for sure.
And it was kind of sarcastic. People that it's from my point of view that I think these people are not supposed to be happy, or are not happy, and then they make fun of me that, hey, what do you know? Like, I'm happy. What do you know about happiness, or stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
If that's more of a content.
Mm-hmm. In the music video for Life, it's quite imaginative what you were able to create, especially the most eye-opening, like memorable part of it is the gas mask and the skeleton. So how do the concepts of the lyrics and the happiness come out with those visuals in the video?
So I watched, well, I was one of those kids that, parents make you in a way and expect you to do certain things just because they want you to. It makes them happy, but then it brings the happiness out of you. So I was kind of raised like that. Do this, do that, say this, go here, don't go there because I want you to do that. The skeleton and the mask was, it's actually the symbolism of a child. I know it's
the lost, it's kind of like the lost innocence, right?
Yeah, it's like some parents or society or a lot of things that surround us just take your soul or take your happiness away just because they want to be happy or they want to be satisfied. That was the symbolism of that. So I want to be immune to a lot of things surrounding me. So I'm going to take your happiness and just put a mask on, pretend it doesn't happen. Pretend you're not sad and you're not feeling anything just for my satisfaction. That was kind of the symbolism that I wanted to get out there.
The child, the skeleton thing, as a child, in some cases, in some situation, you're born dead almost, not physically, not literally, but, your rights, your life, your dreams are just like literally taken away before you even get a chance to grow into what you were. So everything, your dreams get killed.
And these
your
are
hopes
these
get
are
killed.
mostly what we experienced growing up. So, I know it's dark. We're getting too dark, but
we come from a very dark place.
but these are experiences that we experience in our everyday life. So it just comes out naturally. If you pay attention to more to the art in more oppressed countries, the art is darker, and there's like a lot of either sadness or darkness or these sarcasm stuff like that hidden in it,
or even rebellious kind of
yeah,
like attitudes, anger
or whatever,
coming out of like what's going on, the status quo.
I didn't want it to make it like show dark. I wanted it colorful, because of the contrast. And life is happy, and it's supposed to be happy, and it's supposed to be colorful, but along the way stuff happen, which is unfortunate, or you don't get everything you want always. Not everything happens to you that is your way. So it was a contrast that I was imagining it for the video. And I also had no experience in video making. So, and I just lost my job, and
Necessity.
we were planning to, we talked to this videographer, blah, blah, blah. We had made meetings and whatever, and we lost our jobs, so we couldn't afford it. So that was out of the picture, and I decided to do it myself. And
it turned out great.
Thank you. Well, I was learning it as I was going, and I was shooting it like scene by scene. I was shooting it and just adding it to the video and see how it looks like and how it comes out. I was constantly on the look around in my surroundings with the stuff I have. What can I do that I don't need to spend money? That would bring out the message. Also
be cost effective.
Yes.
Thank God for Gelarah.
Yes. That was my go-to place. I kept going to Gelarah and looking for stuff. In the video, most of the stuff is captured, like all the heads are captured in whatever. I was in the water, and my surrounding is just water, just giving me a limit. He had a frame around his head. There was the mask, so there was a lot of symbolism for you being limited in different ways.
Being bashed as well, like, she put
in a pretty way, and it was supposed to be pretty, and that was what I was trying to go for.
Awesome. Why don't we talk about a little bit of the most recent single and video, Mr. Square, which is kind of a contrast, I would think, where it's it's another life experience, I believe you told me, for you, Gelarah, that's happened personally, and also I guess it has the band as well acting in. Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Mr. Square is about I think most women relate to it all over the world. It's about the everyday life of a woman that gets harassed or abused or picked on in the best way. In their work situation, whatever, relationships. And I believe myself that if you break down that fear that you have of being harassed or of being bullied or whatever it is, if you break it down, you can confront the person. And most of the time, not all the times, but most of the time it's effective, and most of the time it works, and the person backs off. in my situation, I used to work in a company that for the first 2 years, I was bullied and harassed a lot by men, my coworkers. And that was not only it. There was a lot of other things in university and whatever, but that stick in my, like, that bothered me the most because these people are grown-ups and adults. We're not kids, like, working in an environment, and you still experience that, and it was hard for me. And Mr. Square is about men that just feel entitled to do anything, not only to women, to, let's say, to the LGBT community, or to anyone that's not as macho as they are, or as doesn't fit their description. Yeah, so that was about Mr. Square was about that.
It's like something that like tackles what I guess the majority system has viewed, I guess, women to be, or like any marginalized community.
Yes.
Yeah. The hierarchy that still kind of is relevant within, different pay grades and different positions of power within our world, or companies, or corporate world. It's still relevant until now. And
it's still relevant in any less in North America or more advanced countries, but very visible in other countries, third world countries, that they do get not only pay wise, but in many other ways. They are facing a lot of difficulties at their homes, with their parents, brothers, husbands, boyfriends, even sons. They're facing a lot of difficulties because of being a woman.
Mm-hmm. So how did the music video portray that?
So it starts by Tareq kind of pulling me on the floor with a rope that portrays me being under the mercy of someone else and just giving in. And there are scenes that he throws money at me, which a lot of men feel like if they spend on you, they have the right to ask you anything.
The ownership.
The ownership.
The ownership.
And then there's Olaf and Jason, which I told it because these are really nice guys. They are really, and they're not like that at all in real life. So I had to explain that to them, that I had to brainwash them that you are a really bad person. He's like, imagine this person, imagine that person, for them to just get in the character and become that. And they did a great job, in my opinion. Like, all of them did a great job.
It was very weird to see all of the nice guys putting on that.
When I was editing the video, I kept texting them, right now I can choke you all. Like, like I hated them so bad. Like, I was like disgusted by them at the same, and they were like, you made us do this, don't do that. Yeah, so the video goes on harassing a girl, like 3 guys harassing a girl in different ways, pulling her, a little bit, like, I brought a little bit of the sexual side of the male dominancy in the video, but the most important part for me was that she's in this cover that is her limit, and when she steps out of her limit, that's when these guys start backing off and just letting go and letting her be whatever she is. So that was how I was trying to get it out. And we worked with 2 videographers that actually helped us really, really in a very good way. And they didn't charge me at all. So I'm really thankful to them. I explained the whole scenario to them, and they captured it very nicely from different angles. And yeah, and that's how it went.
Awesome. We should move on because I think we're getting close to ending our time together. First, I want to ask, how have you found the Toronto music scene so far and receiving you from like playing concerts? I guess when we were able to do concerts.
Very mixed. Very mixed. I think there's a lot of kind of not confusion on what to expect from us. At least within the circles of, or within the places that we've played mostly. With the exception of a few bands that we know that are kind of like have the same state of mind, like for example, Wax Limbs, which we have discovered through you, they have a very similar outlook and way of expressing themselves. But most of the bands that we have interacted with, or most of the places where we have played, it seems to have a theme to it. So there's an expectation within the music, whether it's lyrically or musically or mood-wise. I think we kind of like are a bit odd in our expression that some people loved it. A lot of people didn't understand it. So it was kind of, they couldn't translate what they're seeing or hearing. It's a bit all over the place for them, maybe, or it's a bit different than what they're used to. So, but there has been some great interactions. There have been some great discoveries with some artists that we know, and we made some great friends with some artists that understand what we're trying to do.
Like you,
yeah. Like we're so amazed at and thankful that you had this connection that you can see.
Well, Nicholas is on the non-expected side too, like not in the pop culture, not
in the typical rock.
Not the mainstream part. I always try and find the different, unexpected, weird.
You actually do a great job finding.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for.
Yeah.
It's very nice to hear that.
Yeah, you do.
Now we're at the tail end of Pride Month, and this year it's different. I want to ask your guys' opinion. What has Pride meant to you? I guess in your life, and as well as what is significant about it this year, being as we can't celebrate celebrate in person.
In history wise, I mean, for me at least, no, I'm not talking to you, Siri. When I came here in 97, and I didn't come out to like a year and a half later to my close friend who I knew was gay, and I opened up, and I was amazed and overwhelmed when I learned that there's Pride and the movement is more open-minded here. Even though it was a lot more still closed-minded compared to now, people would still turn their heads if two guys are kissing or holding hands, or two girls are hugging. So it was a little bit strange back then. Still was not as acceptable right now. But yeah, it was a chance for me to finally feel that there is really no shame in having the feelings that I have. So yeah, I almost didn't miss. Maybe I missed like 2-3 of the prize in all the years. So it was a chance for me to just like, bump into a lot of old friends, a lot of people that I haven't seen in years, party and, meet new people, meet new friends.
I still haven't missed any.
You haven't missed any, yeah.
No.
It's a great experience. It's a lot of fun. And, last year we came to the Tehran Pride, right? And
yeah,
we hear that was out of this world, it's just the whole culture coming together, and more and more support is flowing in through the years. A lot of people coming to it now, straight people, right? Just joining in and supporting, which is a great feeling. So this year it's a little odd.
Saddening.
It does feel a little empty. But I mean, we have accomplished a lot through the years, so it's not, it's all right that, this year we have more of an internal focus, and it doesn't always have to be, necessarily one way to express your unity or your openness. You do still see people or companies or shops or friends that are sharing things within the month. So it's the spirit is always still there, which is great. It's not only encapsulated in one thing, which is quite great.
Yeah, exactly. I feel that way as well this year. Last year was the first time I really celebrated Pride openly, and because I've been doing my radio broadcasts of like Pride specials. This year it's more introspective and reflective. Like there is the virtual activities and events going on, but obviously that's not the same thing.
No.
And it's also just to look back at how far we've come and all the how we got this far, remembering how we had the fight at the beginning, and for our the rights we have now, and we have to remember that we should look to help others who need their rights accounted for as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. It just goes to prove to you that it is possible. People do have power if they're not scared to take the first step. Everyone is usually waiting for the next person to take the first step. But if we do start organizing ourselves and stepping up, you can make change. In the end, wherever laws are, wherever governmental control or police, whatever it is, it's always reversible. People can stand up for it and say, we had enough, because in the end, we are the ones that are running a machine. So they can't ignore you for too long, no matter what the movement is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Do you want to play your final song for this feature?
Our final song is going to be an older song because our new songs were
not acoustic friendly yet.
Yes.
No, that's quite all right.
Yeah, that one, the last song we're going to play is Tempting, which is actually our first song.
Wonderful.
There's a place above my mind controlling every move I make. There's a place deep down my heart with every move it starts to break. There's some veins I have inside connecting my brain to my heart.
comes to me, I get confused and start to disobey. Wanna take my twisted mind out of my head to be destroyed. Wanna crash my heart in pieces so it won't be no one's toy. Should've torn my veins to stop my feelings going up and down. Then it's me again who stands in front of me without no joy. I'm feeling empty. Feeling empty. Spinning around myself. It's me who's been tempting. Well, my hands seem untied, but there is nothing I can do. And my feet don't take my orders, they just pick a random route. It's been a long, long time, my shadow doesn't follow me. It's been a long, long time, I have been locked without no key. Feeling good, spinning around myself. It's me who's been tempted.
Very lovely, guys.
Thank you.
So you've been mentioning this throughout the interview, but it sounds like your future plans is to release your, I guess it would be your debut album. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
We might just release a short EP while we're trying to make the full album, because I do believe, but we want to make it as full and as close possibly to what our vision is. So we don't want to rush it. But yeah, we definitely are looking forward for that.
Yes.
It'll be exciting to finally have a full album
It is.
of you guys.
It is very, very difficult, but rewarding.
Yeah, time consuming and planning, getting all the songs together.
Yeah.
But it'll be worth it.
For sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Where can we find you guys in your music?
Here.
We just listened to you guys.
Well, we're actually on all platforms.
Almost all, I would say. Like, the major stuff. Like,
I think so.
Apple, Spotify, these are the usual.
Yeah,
Amazon, SoundCloud, YouTube.
Yeah, so I think if you Google Gelax or Gelax Band, I believe we might come up, except for some other results. But I think we will probably come up for the first few results.
Wonderful. And one last question. Could you each give us some words of wisdom?
Something that works for
that's something you should ask a wise person.
Don't think too much, and that's something I have to say to myself all the time. Don't think too much. Just try to take it moment at a time. We're just moments. We're just living moments, really. We get so stuck up in what we should do so much in the future, or get stuck in regrets of the past. But realistically, if think about this second, it's happier. It's a happier place. Yeah.
I have one word. Chill.
The wisest words are often the less wordy.
Yeah, that's something I've been telling myself a lot. Chill. Just chill.
Gelarah and Tareq, thank you very much for this.
Thank you so much for having us. It was wonderful to see you and talk to you after a long time.
Hopefully personal soon. In person
hopefully
soon.
we'll see you in person.
Definitely. So much, definitely.
Yes. And have yourself a wonderful time.
Yes. Enjoy your
Thank
time
you.
off.
Thank you.
Thank you.